This final microlecture in the basic listening sequence addresses the heart of empathetic understanding, the observation and reflection of feelings or emotions. As clinicians, we know the importance of effective communication and understanding our clients on a deeper level. Our students, and often their parents, are often only in our presence because of the vulnerability inherent in needing help from us. Since emotions are powerful drivers of behavior and communication, connecting with our students or their parents through our understanding of their emotional experience can deepen our relationship or therapeutic alliance with them, facilitating trust and safety for further genuine expressions of vulnerability. These two quotes really stood out for me. Emotions and feelings underlie our cognitions, thoughts, and behavior. Emotions are our biological engines. Without the support of our feelings, change in cognitions and behavior becomes far more difficult. And emotions often take the lead in what we say and do. So this makes reflecting feelings one of the most important and impactful of all the listening skills. So what is meant by reflecting in this context? Think back to paraphrasing and summarization of content, where we attempted to give an accurate account of what a student or parent has said. In the case of reflecting feelings, we're called on to identify the prime emotions of the student or parent and to express them back in order to help the student or parent know they've been heard, but also to help them better understand their own experience. Whether we choose to very briefly reflect back an emotion, as a social worker friend of mine would reflect back to her junior high school child, "You're pissed." Or whether we choose to combine reflecting emotion with paraphrasing, summarizing, or working to identify strengths or positive feelings, we're providing recognition and validation for our students' emotions and perhaps helping them better identify their own emotions. In a three-step process, we are observing student or parent emotions, giving them a label, and repeating them back to the student or parent. Observing feelings involves paying close attention to both what is said and how it is said. It means being attuned to the client's tone of voice, facial expressions, body language, and overall demeanor. These cues provide valuable insights into the client's emotional state. Fear is a primary emotion we may experience and identify in our clients or their caregivers, but this may be expressed as anger, frustration, rage, or even denial. This means we may need to think beyond the emotion being expressed and guess at what emotion might be lurking underneath. The Atlas of Emotions website can be a handy resource for exploring this more deeply. Once we have observed these feelings and labeled them for ourselves, the next step is to reflect them back to the client. This involves paraphrasing or summarizing what the client has expressed, emphasizing the emotions underlying their words. What we choose to say will be determined by their words and their body language in combination. When we can use a structure to guide us like this. Start with a sentence stem, such as sounds like, or I sense or hear that you are feeling blank, or something similar. Then provide the emotional label. It sounds like you are feeling really frustrated and angry. Include the context if you know it in the present tense. Sounds like you are feeling really frustrated and angry because those kids made fun of your speech. And then pause. Allow some time for both of you to sit with this. Then include a verifying question or statement. Does this sound right? Am I hearing you correctly? Even though we're all likely to have chosen this profession out of a desire to help, it's very important to verbally recognize a student or a parent's emotions before moving into our more comfortable fix-it mode. This is where that comfort with discomfort comes in for us. Then, at some point later, see if you can reference a strength or a positive characteristic to help counterbalance the understandable negative emotions. Perhaps you could reference a strength that you've seen in the past from this student, or a characteristic that's been shared by a family member. Be sure it's relatable to the situation at hand. You could even consider asking the student to reference their own strength. For instance, can you think of a time when you faced a challenge like this in the past? How did you handle that? What helped? By labeling these emotions, it's possible we are helping the student identify and more fully experience their emotions, and it provides an opener to help the student or parent begin to recognize their own resilience, skills, or strength. With regard to different cultures and emotional expression, there are some similarities across cultures. The 7 cardinal emotions, visual and facial signals that accompany these emotions, and themes, general themes regarding what elicits emotions. What may be specific to different cultures could include rules about how and when to express emotions, how emotions are described in words, what events might elicit emotions, and culture-specific attitudes about emotions and emotional expression. These will be helpful to explore on a student-by-student basis as these things come up. Consider a moment when you have felt a strong emotion and a well-meaning friend or family member tried to talk you out of it. How did that go? Remember that those emotions that we think of as negative are sometimes completely appropriate to the situation. It is not our job to talk our client out of their feelings, but to let them know that they've been heard and understood, and to help them better understand themselves. Take some time to think about a recent interaction with a client where you've observed certain feelings. Now, how could you reflect those feelings back to the client in a way that demonstrates empathy and understanding, and perhaps opens a door to greater understanding for them? Try using reflection of feelings this week during your work.